At a large office building in the city, there was an old janitor named Mr. Elias. He was quiet, gentle, and always carried a small notebook in his pocket. No one really noticed him. Not the managers, not the assistants, not the visitors. To most people, he was just the janitor. But every day at exactly 12 o'clock noon, Mr. Elias walked to the lobby and stood in front of a giant old wall clock. He stared at it for a few seconds, then smiled and continued his work. For years, employees wondered, why does he do that? The clock didn't even work. It had stopped at 11:47 a.m. long time ago. One afternoon, a new intern named Jacob finally asked him, "Sir, why do you look at that broken clock every day? It doesn't even tell time." Mr. Elias closed his notebook slowly and said, "That clock reminds me of something important." Jacob leaned in, curious. The old janitor looked at the clock and whispered, "It reminds me that even when life stops moving forward, you don't have to." Jacob didn't understand. So Mr. Elias shared his story. Years ago, he had been a teacher, loved by students, respected by his community. Then tragedy struck. His wife died unexpectedly, and grief suffocated every part of his life. He stopped going to work, stopped dreaming, stopped living, just like the clock. He froze at the moment his world broke. One day, Mr. Elias continued, "I walked into this building looking for anything, any job, to keep me alive. The first thing I saw was that broken clock. I felt connected to it. So, every day since then, he stood before it at noon and reminded himself, even if something around you breaks, you don't have to break with it." Jacob's eyes softened. "You've been healing all these years slowly." Mr. Elias nodded. "Healing isn't sudden. It's daily, and sometimes it's silent." Months passed, and Jacob shared the janitor's wisdom with others. Soon, employees began treating Mr. Elias differently, greeting him, talking with him, appreciating the man they had once overlooked. Then one day, they came to work and found something unexpected. The old clock was ticking again. Someone had repaired it, and beneath it was a small note in careful handwriting. "For the man who taught us that time can stop, but life must continue." Mr. Elias read it, eyes shining, and closed his notebook with a satisfied smile. Not because the clock worked again, but because so did he. If this story touched your heart today, don't forget to subscribe to Wise Words Echoes for more daily stories of wisdom, healing, and hope. Tap like, share with someone who needs encouragement, and answer this in the comments. What moment in your life made you feel stuck? And how did you begin moving forward again? Your story could help someone else find their next step.